All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about something that's popping up in pretty much every design team right now: AI. But not as some far off concept, we're talking about AI as a daily use utility. We're going to unpack this idea of instrumental design, which is basically treating AI like just another tool in your toolbox. But as you'll see, it's way more complicated than it sounds. So let's just start with the reality on the ground. In the design world today, there's kind of this new yardstick for measuring skill, and it all revolves around your relationship with artificial intelligence. Seriously, how you work with AI is fast becoming how your own work gets judged. This is the question. And for a lot of creative teams, this isn't just small talk. It's pretty much the new definition of competence. Can you write better prompts? Can you generate options faster? Can you spit out more ideas in less time? This is quickly becoming the baseline expectation. And I mean, it's really easy to see why, right? AI has slotted into our workflows so neatly. It's generating UI variations for us, it's summarizing dense user research, it's drafting copy. It's become this incredibly powerful assistant that sits right there next to Figma or Photoshop. And let's be super clear about this. For pure efficiency, this has been a massive, massive win, no doubt about it. We're creating more, we're iterating way faster, and we're exploring more creative avenues than ever before. So yeah, by all the normal productivity metrics, this tool phase of AI is a huge success. But while we've all been so focused on speed and just getting stuff out the door, something really subtle has started to change. And it's not in the designs themselves, but in how we talk about our work. There's this quiet little shift happening in our language. Sound familiar? Have you heard this in a design review lately? Maybe you've even said it yourself. And look, it sounds totally harmless, right? It's like you're just giving a shout out to your new digital assistant. But this is the first clue that something much deeper is going on. And here's another one. Same vibe. Again, sounds perfectly reasonable. We're just being transparent about the process. But notice what's happening? We're giving the credit, the agency for creative recommendation, directly to the model. Just take a second and really think about those phrases. When we say the AI suggested something or recommended a path, what are we actually saying about our own role in all of this? And here's the crux of it. The work is absolutely getting done. And hey, it often looks fantastic. But the reasoning, the intent behind it, the actual why of the design decision, that's starting to get fuzzy. The designer is still the one producing the thing, but they're slowly, almost accidentally, giving up their role as the author. Okay, so this brings us right to the heart of the issue. For years, we've been working with a hidden assumption about our tools, an assumption that AI has just completely blown up. So let's unpack what makes this new kind of tools so fundamentally different. For decades, this was just true. Our tools were neutral. Photoshop never had an opinion about your color choices. Illustrator never judged your Bezier curves. They were just extensions of our own hands and our own intent. We always believed that tools were impartial. This slide nails the difference. A traditional tool just sits there and waits for your command. An AI tool, though, it's already making what the source here calls proto-decisions. It's prioritizing certain patterns it's seen before, it's generalizing from past data, and, this is a big one, it's actively suppressing other alternatives before you even see a single pixel. These are not neutral operations. This tool has a point of view. And this is where we get to the real risk in all of this, and it's probably not what you think. It isn't about using the tool wrong or getting a bad result. The danger is actually much more subtle, and it has everything to do with our own confidence. So let me be really clear. We're not talking about the fear of generating a bad design or getting some weird, glitchy result. The occasional error or mistake, that's not the problem we really need to be worried about. The real danger is overconfidence. When an AI spits out something that looks polished, professional, and totally plausible in a matter of seconds, our natural instinct is to just trust it. That professional sheen can actually shut down our own critical thinking. And this is what happens. Our workflow quietly shifts from a process of interrogation to one of acceptance. Instead of us asking, why this? Why not that? What are the trade-offs? We fall into this pattern of just accepting what we're given. The whole process becomes incredibly smooth, super fast, and dangerously opaque. This leads us to a really critical distinction we have to make. Tool mastery, which is, being great at writing prompts and generating options, is not the same thing as design mastery. Design mastery is all about judgment. It's the ability to articulate why one choice is better than another, to explain the trade-offs you're making, and ultimately to take full ownership of the final outcome, not just delegate the decision-making process. So all of this forces us to ask a pretty fundamental question about our own jobs. If the tool has an opinion and we're increasingly just accepting its suggestions, then who exactly is doing the designing here?
This is the question that every single creative professional needs to be asking themselves right now. Is your process one of active, intentional decision-making, or has it slowly become a process of simply selecting the most appealing option from a list that a machine generated for you? Because believe me, there is a world of difference between those two things. So how do we fight this? How do we reclaim that sense of authorship? It comes down to asking harder questions. When you get a result, ask yourself, can I explain the logic for why this output exists? Do I actually understand what data or patterns the AI prioritized? And just as important, what alternatives did it completely ignore? And here's the big one. If this design fails or causes a problem down the line, do I know who's responsible? Am I prepared for it to be me?
So we'll end on this thought. Look, AI is an absolutely incredible tool. It's amazing for efficiency and for exploring new ideas. But this idea of instrumental design has its limits. The very moment we stop interrogating the why behind a design and we simply start selecting from the what, we risk becoming curators of machine-generated options instead of being authors of intentional design. And that leaves us with one final question to really chew on. If you are only selecting, who is really doing the designing?